Hello students, welcome back in this video session of pharmaceutical organic chemistry. So in today's video session we will be discussing an important topic, that is IUPAC rules for nomenclature of aldehydes and ketones. So let's get started. What are carbonyl compounds? Carbonyl compounds are nothing but these are the aldehydes and ketones. So these are often referred as the carbonyl compounds, and the reason behind referring these as carbonyl compounds because they contain the carbonyl group. So here you can see there is a carbonyl carbon. So this is a carbonyl carbon and this is attached to the oxygen. Okay, so here this is referred as the carbonyl group. And in aldehydes and ketones we find this carbonyl group is present, and that's why aldehydes and ketones are also referred as the carbonyl compounds. Carbonyl group is chemically one of the most versatile group in the organic chemistry. The reason behind this is we can find many organic reactions where this carbonyl group will be converted to some other functionality. So there are large number of chemical reaction which involves the changes happening at the carbonyl group, and that makes this carbonyl compounds and very important class not only in the organic chemistry but also in the pharmaceuticals. There are many pharmaceuticals and the active pharmaceutical ingredients which contain either aldehyde or ketone in their structure. Okay, so we need to study how we can nomenclate these aldehydes and ketones which are referred as the carbonyl compounds. So here you can see aldehyde is RCHO. Okay, so this is a generalized formula for representing an aldehyde where this R can be alkyl or it can be aryl. Okay, so this can be alkyl group or it can be aryl group. So if it is aryl group we refer it as a aryl aldehydes. Similarly, another class of carbonyl compound is a ketones. Now these ketones can be represented by this generalized formula RC=OR. So in this case also this R and this R is the alkyl or aryl group. In another type of compound where the ketone is involved, in that case one can be aryl and one can be alkyl. That is possible. Okay, so this is how we can represent the ketones and aldehydes. We should remember RCHO is an aldehyde group where R can be an alkyl or it can be aryl. In case of ketones, it can be a combination of aryl and alkyl, or it can be similar alkyl or different alkyl, or it could be different or similar aryl groups. Okay, so that is what we have represented here, RC=OR and then RC=OR dash. Okay, and both of these contains the carbonyl group, and that's why we are referring these as the carbonyl compounds. Okay, now we will see the rules applicable for nomenclating these aldehydes and ketones. Rule number 1 says we have to use the suffix AL. Okay, so suffix AL we have to use to designate it contains the aldehyde group. Okay, it contains the CHO group, so suffix here is AL. Rule number 2 says when compound is named as aldehyde, the functional group is necessarily at the end of the parent chain, so number 1 is omitted. Okay, so there is no need to indicate at what position the aldehyde group is present. Okay, so if it is present at the end chain of the carbon, you need not to mention the location of the aldehyde group. Rule number 3 says you have to use the suffix like carbaldehyde or carboxaldehyde when aldehyde group is attached to a ring system. Okay, so this is again very important. You have to observe the structure. If the CHO group or aldehyde group is attached to the ring cysteine, then we should not use the suffix Al, we have to use the suffix carbaldehyde or carboxaldehyde. Rule number 4, if the aldehyde group is the substituent on the parent of higher nomenclature priority, then methanoyl or formyl is used. Okay, so this is quite rare, but you need to know this. Okay, now by applying these rules, we can try to nomenclate this structure. The rest of the rules are as same as that of the alkanes, alkenes and so on. Okay, now here we can easily make out, so there is a aldehyde group present on the structure. Okay, and because of that the priority should be given to the functionality, and then we can number. So the numbering will start with the aldehydic carbon here, then this will be 2 and this will be 3. So it is a propane, the carbon chain is, it is a propane. Okay, and then here we need not to indicate the position of the aldehydic group. Okay, so what could be the name of this compound? I can write here, because of the aldehyde group, the suffix what we have to use is Al. So the name of the compound will be propanal. Okay, so prop represent the carbon chain or the hydrocarbon chain, An represent it is the carbon-carbon single bond, and Al represent it contains the aldehyde group. Okay, so Al represent it has a CHO, An represent it is a carbon-carbon single bond, it is a alkane. Okay, and prop represents the hydrocarbon chain, it represents the hydrocarbon chain. So this is how we can name this structure using the rules for naming the aldehydes. Okay, so the correct name of this compound is propanal. You need not to mention as 1-propanal. Okay, this has the common name as propionaldehyde. The common name of this structure is propionaldehyde. Okay, because it contains the aldehyde group. We will see some more structures for better understanding. Now again in this structure, here there is a CH3, here there is a CH3, then there is a CH. Okay, and you can see this carbon, there are 2 bonds attached here, 1 bond attached here, so obviously there will be a 1H. So the numbering will start with this carbon, it will be 1, it will be 2, so 3 can be given either to this or it can be given to this. Let's say I am giving number 3 here, so this will be regarded as the substituent. Okay, so what should be the name here for this compound? Just try. It will be 2- M should be capital, 2-methyl, and then hydrocarbon chain containing how many carbons? 3 carbons, so it will be propane, it will be propane. Okay, so E will go and then Al will be added. Okay, so this E will go and Al will be added, and it is a propane, so it will be 2-methyl propanal, 2-methyl propanal. Okay, so that will be the correct name for this structure. Next one. Now here you have to remember the rules. Okay, when aldehyde group is attached to the aromatic ring or the ring cysteine, then Al will not be a suffix. What will be the suffix? The suffix will be either carbaldehyde or carboxaldehyde, and here it is a benzene ring, so I will write here the benzene and I have to attach the suffix carbaldehyde. Okay, or you can also write benzene carboxaldehyde. Okay, benzene carboxaldehyde, both names are correct. Okay, then we'll go next. Now we will see the rules for giving name to the ketones. Okay, so here for ketones the suffix will be ONE. On will be the suffix to designate it is ketone. Then you have to indicate the position of this keto group, that is the carbonyl group, along the parent chain by putting the number, okay, wherever it is. Then rule number 3 says it is also common to name ketones by using the substituent name for the two hydrocarbon groups connected to a carbonyl followed by the word ketone. Okay, so we can write these three words separately. So I will give you one example where you can understand the rule number 3. Then rule number 4, when another functionality have priority over ketone, then oxygen atom of the ketone carbonyl group is regarded as substituent. Okay, if you have any functionality which have higher priority than the ketone, then the ketone functionality will not have the suffix of on, it will have the prefix as oxo. Okay, then rule number 5, aldehyde will take priority over the ketones. Now if you have any structure in which both the functionalities are present, it is possible. Okay, so if any structure if you find which contains CHO as well as this keto group, okay, then in that case aldehyde will take priority in the numbering and ketone will be next. So that also we should remember. Now I will explain here this rule number 3. So what the rule number 3 says, it is common to name ketones by using the substituent name for two hydrocarbon groups connected to a carbonyl followed by the word ketone. Okay, so these are the two substituents which are connected to this carbonyl carbon. On this side we have ethyl as well as on the other side we have ethyl. So this is what we refer it as R. Okay, so in this case both are R, both are same substituent. So as per rule we can name this compound in the format we can write as diethyl. Okay, so first we are writing the name of the substituent diethyl and then we can write as simply ketone. Okay, and there should be space between diethyl and ketone. Okay, diethyl and ketone. If you want to give the numbering with the other way, you can number these carbons as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it is a pentane, and then you can indicate the location of the ketone group. Okay, so I can write here it is present at carbon 3, so I can also write 3-pentanone. 3-pentanone can be written. Okay, or you can also write 3-pentane, 3-pentane, 3-one. Okay, sorry, pentane 3-one. You can write pentane 3-one. That is also correct. Okay, now by using this or the rules what we have discussed, can you give the nomenclature for this? Now here you can see there is a one alkyl substituent, it is ethyl, and the other side it is 1, 2 and 3, so it is a propyl. So in this case it is like R, C double bond O and then R dash. So R is different on the left side and on the right side R is different, so I have represented it as R dash. Now by using the rule what we have discussed earlier, we can write the two substituent first and then we can write the suffix ketone, and there should be space between these three words. Okay, so on one side we have ethyl and the other side we have a propyl, so we have to arrange them in alphabetical order. So ethyl will take priority, ethyl, then we have to give the space, we can write propyl and then we can write suffix, that is ketone. So the name of this compound as per the rule what we have discussed earlier, that will be ethyl propyl ketone. You can also write the name of this compound in this format. Okay, so In this way, if you are going numbering in this direction, this will be 1, this will be 2, and this will be 3. If you are going in this direction, this will be 1, this will be 2, 3, and then keto functionality will get the higher number. So that will not be a correct way. So you have to proceed from left to right so that the carbon attached to this oxygen will get the lowest possible number. So this one will be the correct direction. So it will be 4, 5 and 6. So it is a hexane. So I can write the name as 3 dash because at carbon 3 we have a keto group and it is a hexane. So I can write hexane. E should be dropped and ONE is a suffix used for these ketones. So it will be 3 dash hexanone will be the correct name. In this format also you can write as hexane dash 3-one. Okay, so that is also correct. All three ways of writing this structure is correct. Okay, so I hope you have understood the rules what we have discussed. Now let's try another structure. Now in this case the keto functionality is here, so obviously we have to give the numbering in such a way that this functionality will get the lowest possible number. So this will be 3. I can give 4 either here or I can give it here. Okay, let's say I am giving 4 number here, so this will be considered as the substituent. So the substituent is present at carbon 3, so we will write 3 dash methyl. M should be capital here, it will be a methyl, 3 dash methyl. Then we have to indicate the position of this carbonyl group. 2 dash, it is a butane, so it will be a butanone. Okay, it will be a butanone. Can you name this structure in the other way? Like we have written ethyl propyl ketone. Okay, so look at what functionality and substituent it have. Here you can see this functionality, this substituent and this substituent. So on one side you have methyl and this side you have, which one it is? It is a isopropyl. Okay, so you can arrange them in a alphabetical order and then you can name this compound. So it will be isopropyl, then give the space, then write methyl, and then it will be a ketone. Correct? So this is also possible. Isopropyl methyl ketone will be the name for this structure. Then let's try this structure. There are two functionalities. One is a halogen atom, chlorine, and other one is again a ketone. So in such case we have to see the priority order. So ketone will have higher priority than the halogen atoms. So obviously this carbon will be considered as 1, and then we have to go in a clockwise direction so that the substituent chlorine will get the lowest possible number. So this will be 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this is the correct way of numbering this structure. So we can write the substituent. Chloro will come first, 3 dash chloro, and then it will be again hyphen, and it is a cyclohexane. Okay, so it will be cyclohexane. E will be dropped and ONE will be added as a suffix. So the correct name for this will be 3-chlorocyclohexanone. Okay, alright. Now can you try to solve this structure? There are two keto functionalities here. Okay, so we can name as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We can give the numbering and then you can write the name of this compound. Okay, so we can write a hydrocarbon chain, it is a pentane, and there are two keto groups, so we can represent as di. Okay, we can represent as di for indicating there are two keto groups or functionalities, and we have to indicate at what position these are. So these are present at carbon 2 and 4. Then we can put the dash. Then the hydrocarbon chain is a pentane, so we can write as a pentane, and then we can write as di, O-N-E. O-N-E is a suffix for the ketones, and di represents there are two keto functionalities. Okay, you can also write in the other way. You can write as pentane dash 2,4 dione. Okay, so this is also correct, even this is also correct. Alright, now let's see the other example. So here again there are two functionalities you can easily make out. One is alkene and other one is an, what is the other functionality here? It is a, there is a carbon here, so there is a H here. Okay, there is a H here. So how we can name this structure? So for aldehyde we have the ending as Al, correct? So we can give the numbering. Now in this case, when you have the aldehydic groups and alkene functionality, obviously that will take a priority. So this will be 1, this will be 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it is a pentane, it is a pentane, and because of the double bond, A and E will be converted to E and E. So it is a pentene. Okay, it is a pentene. So I can write the name of this compound as 2,4 dash penta. Then I can write di, because there are two double bonds, there will be di, diene, it is a diene, conjugated diene. So I can write as diene. Okay, E will not come, and then we can write Al as a suffix for this aldehydic functionality. Okay, so it will be 2,4 pentadienyl. Okay, that will be the correct name for this structure. Alright, now what about this structure? Again, aldehydic functionality is there. So this is a aldehydic functionality, it is a CHO, and there is a keto functionality. So when aldehyde and keto functionalities are there, we have already discussed in the rule, aldehyde functionality will take a priority. Aldehydes have priority than ketones. Okay, so they will get the priority for numbering those. Okay, so obviously I should give number 1 to this carbon, this will be 2, this will be 3, then this will be 4, and this will be 5. Okay, so we can write for this keto functionality, we can write as 4 dash oxa, no, sorry, oxo, not oxa, it will be 4 dash oxo dash, it is a pentane, and Al will be the suffix, so it will be a pentanal. 4 dash oxa pentanal will be the correct name for this. Okay, so you have to remember here, when two functionalities like aldehydes and ketones are there, the aldehyde will take a priority in the numbering. Okay, alright. Now let's try this structure. It is a cyclohexane, and then there is a keto functionality and there is a halogen atom. Okay, so in such case you should remember this will be considered as R. Okay, how it can be represented, it will be like this. Okay, so in such case, when cyclohexane type of substituents are present, then this carbon will get number 1. Okay, so it will be getting number 1. Then we have to give number in this way. So here the chlorine will be placed at carbon 3, and then this cyclohexane will be considered as a substituent. So we can easily write the name. So we have to take the chloro first as per the alphabetical order. So it will be 3-chloro, then we can put again hyphen or dash, and we can indicate at what carbon it has a keto group. So it will be 1 dash. Then first we will complete the cyclohexane as a substituent. Okay, so it will be cyclohexyl. So it is a cyclohexane ring, but it is present as a substituent, so it will be written as cyclohexyl, and then you can write as butanone. Okay, you need not to specify the position at which the cyclohexyl ring is attached. Okay, because it is understood in such case the numbering will begin at the carbonyl group. Okay, so it will be written as 3-chloro-1-cyclohexyl butanone. Okay, some students may write cyclohexyl, they will put dash and they will write as 1-butanone. So that is also correct, but more appropriate will be this one. Alright. Now next kind of question which can be asked, you will be given the IUPAC name and you are supposed to draw the structure. So it is 1-phenyl propanone. So you know when we have to use the word phenyl, when one of the substituent is present on the benzene ring. Okay, so in that case we use as phenyl, one of the hydrogen is replaced with some substituent. So it is a propanone. ONE is a word which is used for our keto functionality, right? It is used for the keto functionality like this, and it is a propane. So there will be how many carbon atoms? There will be 3 carbon atoms. So I can write a hydrocarbon chain, and then there will be a phenyl ring. So in phenyl, at phenyl it is referred as number 1. Okay, so let's say I am numbering this propanone in this way, 1, 2, 3. Okay, then I can put a phenyl ring here like this. Okay, so let's say this is phenyl ring. Okay, it is aromatic in nature. So where will be the keto functionality? Obviously it will be at carbon 1, because we are starting the numbering from here. So this will be the keto group, and then what you can do, you can just complete the valency of the carbon. So it will be CH2 and it will be CH3. So this will be the correct structure for the IUPAC name 1-phenyl propanone. Alright. The next is 4-bromo-3-methyl butanol. Okay, so how we can write here? It is a AL, that means you are getting a hint there is a aldehydic group. Then what are the substituents? There is a bromo and there is a methyl, and it is a butane. Okay, so there will be 4 hydrocarbon chain. Okay, and it is AN, that means it is a alkane. So we can draw the hydrocarbon chain of 4 carbon atoms. Okay, so it is a butane. Then we can give the numbering as 1, 2, 3 and 4. So at carbon 4 we have a bromine, so let's attach a bromine here. Then at carbon 3 we have a methyl, so let's attach a methyl here. So what is remaining now? 4-bromo-3-methyl butanol. So where will be the aldehydic group? Obviously the aldehydic group will be at carbon 1, which will be getting a priority. Okay, so this is aldehydic group. Then what is remaining? You have to just complete the valency of the carbon. So it will be H here, and then it will be CH2 here. Okay, so this is how simply you can write the structure by taking the IUPAC name. Some students may also write like this: CHO, CH2, CH and CH2. Okay, so there is a bromine here and there will be a methyl here like this. Okay, so this is also correct, this is also correct. Now try the other one, 4-methyl cyclohexane carbaldehyde. Okay, so carbaldehyde is used. Okay, so when we use a carbaldehyde, we have explained in the rule, it is a cyclohexane. Okay, so cyclic structure like this, then at carbon 4 we have a methyl. So first we can draw the aldehyde group anywhere in the ring. Okay, so draw it clearly here. Okay, so let's say I have attached a aldehyde group here as CHO. You can also write in this way, C double bond O and H. Okay, so this will be number 1. So you can go in a clockwise or anti-clockwise way. Let's say I am going in a clockwise way, in this way, 4, 5 and 6. So what is remaining? The substituent is remaining. At carbon 4 we have a methyl. Okay, so now check the structure. Aldehyde group is there, cyclohexane is there, and 4-methyl is there. Okay, so you have drawn the structure, 4-methyl cyclohexane carbaldehyde. Alright, now you can try this structure, 3-methyl cyclopentane 1-one. One means it is a ketone, and there is a substituent at carbon 3 and it is a cyclic structure. It is a pentane, so you can draw a cyclic structure like this. It is a cyclopentane 1-one. So you can, let's say I have attached a ketone group here, so this will be numbered as 1. Then if you are going, let's say, in a anti-clockwise way, so it will be 2, this will be 3, 4 and 5. So at carbon 3 we have a methyl, okay, and 1-one. So this will be the correct structure for the given IUPAC name. Alright, even if you have not mentioned here 1-one, even then it is also fine, okay, because it is understood. So hope you have understood the IUPAC rules for nomenclature of carbonyl compounds, that is aldehydes and ketones, which are very important class of compounds in the organic chemistry, especially in the pharmaceuticals. So if you have understood all these rules, you can practice these questions which are there on your screen. So you can try the IUPAC name of this compound, which is quite simple, okay, and then you can comment your answer in the chat box. So there are 4 practice questions of different category. Okay, so here you can see there are 2 functionalities in question number 2, and then this is question number 3 and question number 4. Okay, so you can try these questions and do let me know what are your answers in the chat box or the comment box. So hope you have found this video useful. Thank you for watching this video.